Thank you very much. Thanks to the previous speakers and moderators and all the others who have joined at the panel discussion. So I also invite my panelists, Dr. Ashish Singh, Dr. Sushant Mittal, both we heard just now, one moderating and speaking, Dr. S. Saju, and also we heard Dr. Srinivasan Chilikuri's comments in the previous discussion. Okay, as we get on to the next case-based discussion. Yes. Let's look into what is the ideal management of an extensive stage small cell lung cancer. Okay, if you see a typical patient's profile, now coming into quickly to any of the panelists, just a quick question to all of you: how will you investigate a small cell lung cancer? Any of the panelists, please. What information you need from the patient, what information you would like to ask for the diagnosis, how do you proceed?
We would prefer to do biopsy first. Then as a part of staging, if patient is affordable for PET, we would prefer PET CT. Otherwise, normal CT evaluation, including a bone scan. And then of course, if PDL1 testing is feasible, that also we would like to do.
So yes, doctor, we try to do the biopsy and pathological confirmation depending upon where the tumor is, basically an image-guided biopsy, but a more centrally located tumor, we would like to do a bronchoscopy. Mediastinal staging, Dr. Ashish, would you insist still?
Ma'am, Dr. Ashish is logged out.
Okay, and then Dr. Srinivasan, please.
I would not be, I mean, if it's an extensive stage, Dr. Anita, I would not be keen for doing a mediastinal staging. If I see a distant metastasis, I would definitely not do a mediastinal staging.
You would not like to do, yes. Yes, does not make sense, but in an early stage, yes, mediastinoscopy. Now this we have, again, continuing with you, brain MRI, yes or no, PET CT or CT scan. This is small cell lung cancer. Dr. Srinivasan.
Yeah, certainly PET CT, ma'am, if the patient is able to, has an access to PET CT and is able to afford it, I think that would be the investigation of choice, without a doubt. And MRI brain as well. That is also very crucial these days because there are many decisions regarding the prophylactic cranial radiation or MRI surveillance. So that would include the brain MRI. So I would do MRI in all patients as much as possible.
Okay, coming to Dr. Sushant. Okay, so this is the 2021 guidelines for small cell lung cancer, okay, in the NCCN. Would you like to differ, or it's a part of your practice as on today? Dr. Sushant, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I agree with these guidelines that we need to scan the brain as well as to do a staging workup, whether with a PET or CT, it's fine with me, but brain MRI I would definitely like to do to know the baseline staging of the patient.
Yeah, brain MRI is already included. It is a preferred investigation.
Yes, yes.
And also PET CT is there. Okay, PET CT is a part. Okay, molecular profiling. Okay, now, Dr. Sushant, what molecular profiling would you send for? Molecular profiling only for never smokers with extensive stage, or what is the molecular profiling for smokers in extensive stage will you like to send? Remember, it's small cell, histopathology, small cell.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I usually don't send any molecular profiling for small cell patients. I don't.
Okay. Send. What about Dr. Saju?
We also don't routinely send, ma'am, because in extensive stage, the first line indication for immunotherapy is irrespective of the PDL1 score. So routinely we don't send for.
Don't send for, okay. But see, in the diagnosis, there is a histopathology where there's a combination of small cell and non-small cell. What do you do for those patients? Dr. Saju?
Ma'am, this are you telling about this non-small cell lung cancer turning into small cell lung cancer?
Or a mixed histopathology?
Mixed histopathology. Okay.
Because that's there already in the guidelines.
Yeah,
then you might be tempted to do.
Yeah, if we are suspecting such a mixed histopathology, then molecular testing would definitely help.
Okay, now with an extensive stage, a small cell lung cancer with the liver metastasis, Sushant, how will you progress or proceed with this patient? That's what the liver looks like.
Ma'am, I would like to start him on the chemotherapy, EP with immunotherapy. And since this patient has a lot of disease in the burden, I would like to go with abbreviated dose of about 70% so that the patient doesn't land up in TLS. Along with that, I would like to give a TLS prophylaxis also, because small cell is prone for TLS. So I would like to give chemotherapy, little lesser dose along with the TLS prophylaxis and immunotherapy.
And I mean, all the three you will start together.
Yes.
Okay. A lesser dose means what is the dose you want to give?
Ma'am, what was the performance status of the patient?
Reasonably okay.
So I think about 75 to 80% of the dose I like to start. And
Yeah,
then in
platinum.
the next cycle, yes, platinum. And then next cycle onwards, I like to go 100%.
Okay. And immunotherapy, what is the drug of choice?
Ma'am, I've been using Durva and I've been very comfortable with that. So I would like to use Durvalumab in this category.
Okay. Coming to Dr. Saju, number of cycles in your practice?
Initially, I would plan 4 cycles and then reassessment.
Okay. And any role of irinotecan based?
Irinotecan, not in the first line. I reserve irinotecan or topotecan for progression to use in the second line.
Do you use it as single agent or you combine with something else?
Irinotecan can be combined with the temozolomide, but usually topotecan I use as a single agent.
Okay. Yes, Dr. Srinivasan, may not be a correct question to ask you, but still we have for discussion. Even a first line treatment for extensive stage small cell lung cancer, what would you prefer?
Very selective patients, of course, they could be counseled for Durvalumab because of the ease of administration and probably toxicity. And a little bit of experience of using that for stage 3 non-small cell lung cancers. Probably I would also prefer Durvalumab.
You will also, if logistics are in place and
Yes.
with other things in place, yes, that's the drug. Okay. Now, if it is 2021, Dr. Saju, this is a question to you. Would you still go ahead with only chemo? Okay, platinum etoposide without an IL, and which are the subset of patients would you do that?
If I am choosing etoposide cisplatin, then I would choose Durvalumab as the chemotherapy agent. But if the patient is not fit for cisplatin and I am planning cisplatin etoposide, then probably atezolizumab can be used. So, I mean, if the patient is affordable, then in the first line, we need to combine chemotherapy with immunotherapy.
Immunotherapy. So logistics is that which is in place. So we will take a call. So if you see this, it had the randomized clinical trials failed to show superiority when you compared platinum and etoposide in first line and with the addition of the immunotherapy over a period of time. And you have the data from the Durvalumab, as we see the Caspian study giving you 12.5 months median OS, and it is approved in first line along with the EP. Even atezolizumab, Empower 133, which again similar median overall survival, it's also approved in the first line. Now to Dr. Sushant, seeing the data which is in front of you, okay, you know pembrolizumab and nivolumab, ipilimumab still not approved as the current state, but
Yes.
atezolizumab and durvalumab has both its approval. Quickly comments, what will you use in your practice?
I use Durva in Finzi.
Okay, why not atezolizumab?
I might be biased, ma'am, because I was the part of the trial of Durva and I've used that molecule. I have a hang of the molecule. Although atezo is also approved and one can use it, but somehow I am very confident with Durva. I have not faced any problem, and so I use Durva.
But atezolizumab is also a very safe drug. I have used
Yes,
it.
ma'am. It's that's what I said. It's a safe drug. One has its own comfortness choice.
Okay.
So,
Otherwise,
yes.
at the level of approval, do you have any difference, Dr. Saju, between these two drugs?
Yeah, that's what I told, ma'am. I think if we are using cisplatin, then we need to combine it with durvalumab. But irrespective of whether it's cisplatin or carboplatin, I think we can use atezolizumab.
Atezolizumab. Why is it so?
Because the trial Caspian study included only etoposide with cisplatin. The carboplatin was not allowed in this study.
In that study, but it can be replaced in other cancers. We are regularly replacing it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we can do.
Okay, sure. So now again, coming back to Dr. Srinivasan, any role in extensive stage small cell lung cancer where you can, yes, we need to refer the patient to you at some point of time for discussion for radiation?